Welcome everybody into the training. This is tool number 3, KPIs for people that hate KPIs. So let's jump into the training. So it turns out, got word back that this is actually going to be turned into a book that will be available. And I think we're going to call it Action Wins. Don't quote me on that, but I think that's what this is. So this is tool number 3, KPIs for people that hate KPIs. And for those of us that don't know, a KPI is a key performance indicator. It's something you measure, okay? So these are 4 tools for serving the world, changing the world, or taking over the world. Your choice. You choose what you want to do. So backing up a little bit, we talked about super high value tasks. This is a tool for doing more of the right things more of the time. The second tool was swim lanes, thinking, working, and achieving in swim lanes. This is KPIs for people that hate KPIs. And the fourth tool is avoidance, the artist's Achilles heel. All right. So Bear Bryant, famous coach, said this, and I think this really hits the tone and the spirit of what we're saying here. Wanting to win is not that important, right? Everybody and their cousin's brother wants that. Preparing to win is what matters. So that's what all 4 of these tools are. They prepare us to win. It's not a surprise. We're not getting lucky. We are preparing. We're expecting to win. Okay? So the 2 things that are true here. First is that you get what you measure. Second thing is we don't want to measure everything. Like we don't want to turn into an accountant with spreadsheets and pivot tables. We only want to measure what matters. So to better understand what matters, we're going to do a review of the super high value tool before we get into the KPIs, okay? So let's look at a couple parts from the book. This is, I think, page 141 in the field guide. So it says this: as artists and entrepreneurs, you receive endless misinformation. It's the artist's job to filter, prioritize, execute, and complete projects, especially early on. Later on, you can delegate it, but early on, you have to be the first expert on it, right? And the number of distractions is greater now than it's ever been. We know that. We feel that every day, right? So most artists struggle with diversions, distractions, noise, all that crap, right? And we fail to accurately evaluate where they should be focusing their time and energy, right? Happens all the time. Happens to me, right? So a couple things that we need to tattoo on our retina. The first is that all things are not equal. All tasks do not carry equal importance, right? So how do we tier those out to where we know the super important things and the lesser important things? That's what we're going to review here today. All right. Therefore, we need to find ways to help focus on what's the most important tasks and which will have the greatest impact on our careers on a daily level. All 4 of these tools, all 4 of the things we're going to talk about today are daily tools, right? So a KPI is a way to separate the must do from the want to do, the nice to do, right? These are the essentials. These are the high value tasks that if we do them over time, consistently, we win, right? Repeat, we win. So we need to get this right. So let's do a quick review of the super high value tool, right? You'll remember that there's 4 quadrants. Q1 is the quadrant of death. This is the stuff we don't want to do. Absolutely no value, just distractions, just YouTube, wormholes, waste of time, right? Then we move up to low value tasks. There's stuff we have to do, right? But it's not going to win the day. It's kind of like table stakes, right? You got to do it, but you don't get points for doing it. Then we move into the right side of the quadrant. Q3 is high value, right? It's important stuff we need to get done, right? But super high value tasks up here in Q4, this is the stuff that we celebrate doing every day. If we do these 3 things, we win the day. We don't have to be embarrassed because we didn't do anything or distracted. If we do these 3 things up here in the super high value quadrant, we win and we get to celebrate, right? So it's a game. It's fun. We get in a pattern of achievement. We get in a pattern of completing, and it's just normal. It's normative to what we do. We always do these 3 things, right? So quadrant 1 is do not do. simply stuff we don't need to do. Time wasters like trolling people or engaging in debates on social media, right? You get that. Quadrant 2 are low value. These are time sucks. They still have to be done, but you don't get sugar points for doing them, right? Q3, tasks in this quadrant are action-oriented and important to your career. They're good things that often take up much of your time. And super high-value tasks, when you get these tasks done, the game changes, right? So how do you find your KPIs? Super fair question. So I'm going to spend a few minutes kind of defining this. So the first thing you want to ask yourself, you want to be aware of what's consistent. What do you always find yourself doing? Okay. These are things that happen over and over and over again, right? Second thing is these KPIs help build your moat. Now, we have a whole training on building your moat, but for now, a moat is something that protects the castle, the good stuff inside, right? So KPIs protect your moat. If you do them over time, over 30 days or 60 days, your moat gets protected, right? Third attribute is that they're measurable. You can kind of say, okay, look, we got 5 today. Maybe we'll get 7 tomorrow. Or maybe let's try to get 10 on Thursday, right? You can count them, right? It's not squishy. It's not amorphous. The fourth attribute is that they're tunable. You can ask yourself, okay, how do we do this better? You know, we got 3 yesterday. What if we did this to maybe hit 10 by the end of the week, right? You can change it. They're iterative. Like you can affect them. There's the handlebars on them. You can move, right? And lastly, the last attribute is if you do these consistently over time, you win, right? Your game changes. You're at a different place if you do this six months from now or a year from now. You do this every day for a quarter, right? So those are some of the attributes for KPIs. So you want to ask yourself, what's consistently happening? Does this build my moat? Is it measurable? Is it tunable? Are there things on it I can change? And over time, if we do this thing, do we win? So chances are, if you answer yes to these 5 things, it's a KPI, right? And this may be different for different people. I'm not going to tell you you have to measure this one thing, and that's the same for everything. Every artist is in a different place. If they're a developing artist at the bottom, if they're a deploying artist in the middle, and if they're a dominating artist at the top, they're going to have different KPIs, right? So some examples. Maybe it's songs. Maybe you're in a writing mode. You're going to be writing for the next couple months, and you want to just measure songs. Maybe it's sales. Maybe you're in a release cycle to where you're driving sales for a new release, and you want to measure that for the quarter. Maybe it's signups. Maybe it's a lead generation campaign where you're going to really put the pedal down on signups for 30 days. Maybe it's live streams or streaming numbers, right? Again, different KPI for different people. So here's how it works. And this is the action item I want you to do. There's 2 parts of this. So you're going to pick your KPI, and every day you're going to measure that KPI for a month. That's the action item. All right. It's going to be a number, and you want to track it as it grows. So let's say your KPI is signups. Every day you're going to say, okay, we got 5 signups on Monday. What can we do to maybe get 10 the next day? Right? And every day you're going to measure and iterate. Okay? How do we tune this? What are the handlebars that we can increase this number? Okay? That's the action item, first action item, right? The second one is this. I want you to go through this high value task, and this will be familiar from the super high value training earlier. I want you to revisit this and tag out 3 in each quadrant. 3 things you don't want to do. 3 things that are low value tasks. 3 tasks that are high value tasks. And 3 values that are super high value tasks. And I want you to begin to tune your thinking and to use this as a filter. Every day you ask yourself, okay, what are these 4 things? I want you to begin to pay attention to the super high value tasks up here in Q4. This is the stuff that wins the day. There's always going to be low value tasks that you have to get done, right? Maybe it's editing videos, maybe it's copy, maybe it's production, writing songs, That's the stuff that has to get done. But we're talking about super high value stuff. So when we do these things in the super high value quadrant, we get to celebrate the day and we win the day. So every day we want to return the day totally used up. Okay. We don't want to return it going, we really didn't do anything today. Maybe we'll try something tomorrow. You want to return it used up, exhausted, ready for the next day. Okay. So those are the action items. That is a quick overview into KPIs. We go much deeper in the community training, in the arena training. But for now, that's just like a quick overview into KPIs. And I want you to begin to use this as soon as you can today. Print these out. Go to work on them. All right. Look forward to seeing what's in front of you. See you.